think the way Crystal Palace operates in the midfield, I consider Adam Wharton kind of like a six, a controller, someone that will dictate the play. So the midfielder I want to bring alongside him is somebody that can, that has a bit of legs, Premier League proven, and will be able to like operate really well for them. I don't know, how much Tottenham would love this, but I personally wouldn't mind Crystal Palace going for Bentancur. He doesn't really have legs like that. I was debating between Bentancur and Joe Willock. I think Joe Willock is better physically, but maybe his game in terms of on the ball could be better. Bentancur is definitely better on the ball, but physically he's lacking. But I feel like for a team like Crystal Palace that want to win more games, I don't think they should be relying on physicality to be able to perform. I think they need to improve on their football. And someone like Adam Wharton and Benton Kerr, that sounds like a very nice, fluid midfield in my head. So I'd go for Benton Kerr. And considering where he's at in his career, I don't think he'll be a big fee. So I probably would want to pay like 25 million for Benton Kerr. I don't know what you guys think about Benton Kerr, but would love to hear your ideas as well as your picks for number eight. Guam, who you going for?
All right. I like the Bentancur shout. I actually really like it. I think he is the kind of like hidden gem in a big club that could really make the change for Crystal Palace and bring a bigger club mentality to their midfield and some more expectations on things like winning. And I like that. But I would go more to Crystal Palace roots by shopping in the championship for the midfield partner for Adam Wharton. Seeing as Adam Wharton came from there too, I took a
Mhm.
look at best performing midfielders in the championship last season, and the name that showed up for what I was looking for, which would be a midfield talent who was slightly young but comfortable in things like build up, disciplined, and pretty adaptable. I came across Hayden Hackney from Middlesbrough. He was one of the star players for Michael Carrick's team and led the early charge for a promotion place slash place in the playoffs and had an all around great season. And he has the best traits of the things that are, you know, being a sit back six to allow Adam Wharton to control the play, but also being an eight to allow late runs into the box and score for himself. And he was my major choice. And his estimated transfer value was 12 million on transfer market. And I'm guessing that, you know, same thing, the same way they got Adam Wharton. I'm sure a 25 to 30 million euro bid brings Hayden Hackney to Crystal Palace. And they continue their great run of buying in, as far as I'm concerned, the best market for Premier League teams that are trying to grow, which is the Championship.
Hayden Hackney. I love that. I did come across his name when I was doing some research for this episode, but I was like, I don't know if that's the way I want to go. But really and truly, that is something that is really Crystal Palace's MO. They love to pick somebody, on a considerable fee, considerable wage structure, bring them up into the Premier League, blood them, develop them, and sell them off, or create a new Premier League legend that can go around the clubs. Barry, who's your pick for the number eight for Crystal Palace?
Um, Toby, you might have an issue with this as well, but
No.
I'll let you hear it first. For me, thinking in the same line as Guam regarding a box to box midfielder, knowing that Adam Wharton is more of the controller. For me, Albert Sambi Lokonga. I think
Interesting.
Lokonga would be great for them. He's young, he's affordable, and he can actually be that box to box midfielder for them in the system that they do play. And he has the discipline to, roam up and drop back to help out. He's got the attributes in terms of creativity, um, defensively as well, trying to come back to make those tackles. And yeah, he's someone who can make a difference for them, both going forward and having a compact midfield. So for me, my number eight shout for Crystal Palace has to be Albert Sambi Lokonga.
Sambi. Lokonga
Okay.
High, stand up. Oh my gosh. I don't
I
know
have
how
a
I feel about that
question
one.
though.
What are you gonna say, Guam?
With regards to Sambi Lokonga, we've already run this experiment at Luton Town, and he didn't look that great. So why would Crystal Palace take the punt again? What would make it so?
Better players around him, you know.
Yeah, that's one thing. To be honest, at Luton, I think Lukonga was a local champion.
Yeah.
I think the competition at Luton was not so good for him, and he didn't really elevate his game. The flip side about him and Luton is that, for football lovers and for neutrals, we felt like, Lukonga should have done much better. I mean, take a look at the impact that Ross Barkley had at Luton. You get what I mean? However, to the Luton fans, Lukonga was absolutely amazing, and they wished he signed a permanent deal, even though they went down. That just goes to show you the level of expectations from fans. However, um, I do think Lukonga is actually good enough. The only reason why I think Crystal Palace would not want to go for Lukonga is his injury record. Honestly, I think that would be the only reason why. Aside that, I do think Lukonga is a great fit for Palace.
I do like the idea of Lokonga for Crystal Palace, truth be told. I think stylistically, he does make sense. He has the ability to play as, a six as well as an eight. So it gives them options in selections and rotation. He's another one of them players that I really thought would make it at Arsenal. I think the story isn't over. I think he comes back from loan from Sevilla, so he's going to resume training. Him and Fabio Vieira is the same story for me. Guys that I would love to see succeed and elevate their game. Lokanga was supposed to be the next Yaya Toure. Fabio Vieira was just supposed to be like the next Luis Figo. Obviously, I'm dreaming, but a boy can hope. But I do agree that those kind of moves to Crystal Palace would be the best way to move forward for them. Give them Premier League experience, more game time, and ability to level up their game around a very very talented team, as well as a really good coach. I really do like what I've seen from Oliver Glasner over the period he's been at Crystal Palace. One pick I do want to mention is our producer also wanted to pick up Kobe Mainu on loan. I don't know why would Manchester United want to let Kobe go? At the end of the day, people can have rumors and stuff on Twitter and the like, but I do feel like Kobe is the guy for Manchester United. He may want to step away from the club or do something different for fear of not being able to level up his game or win a lot of trophies or maybe compete at the highest level for the Premier League in the now, but I think Man United should do everything they can to keep him. Oh, producer
Quickly,
said he's not going to play. He needs minutes. I feel like there'll
yeah,
be a lot of minutes for Kobe and Manchester United. Who are the midfielders that are better than him that's going to start ahead of him in the center midfield?
I think the thing with Kobe is that what we saw under Amorim with Mano is that he doesn't seem to have a specific position for him. He tried
Yeah.
him in the middle as one of the double pivots, and then he tried him as one of the double tens. I don't think Kobe looked so comfortable as one of the double tens. I think he found it difficult to impact the game. So for me, I think the current system at United does not actually suit someone like Kobe Mano. I want to see Kobe Mano either in a clearly defined double pivot, while and him playing as one of as an eight, as a box to box, or him playing in a diamond. I think
Yeah.
that's where we need to see someone like Kobe Mano because everyone sees those similar traits to Clarence Seedorf. So
Mm-hmm.
if you want to bring the best out of Kobe Mano, play him in a system that would bring out his best attributes. That's just my opinion about Kobe Mano. So yeah, our producer has a point. He might not get his minutes will be highly limited under Amorim, and then I think he'll be played out of position, which is going to be bad for his development. I need Kobe Mano in an environment whereby they are interested in developing him and helping him to grow as a football player. Is Manchester United currently that club? I really don't think so right now.
Your point's logically, yeah, they're super logical. There isn't a lot to argue against there. But I think one thing that I would want to raise here is that usually a lot of times, especially with United and their coaches, we want to say it's the coach is not using them well, the coach isn't able to get the best out of them. But I feel like someone that's young like Kobe, who's come up through the ranks at United, I think this is the opportunity for him to level up his game, either become a better eight, a better six, or a better 10. I think he has that talent within him to be able to grab the shirt. I do see, where Amorim is coming from because he needs to win now. But I think that doesn't mean Kobe needs to go just yet. Guam, what do you think on Kobe Manu on loan to Crystal Palace?
The funny thing for me with these kind of transfers is it's very hard to get a United player to a smaller club. United is kind of the peak for most players in England, and
Hmm.
any drop off kind of affects them. Any drop off to a smaller team, I feel kind of makes the player look inward and feel a bit bad about himself because
Yeah,
it's a situation where you're like at the top and now you have to go back to the ground and you have to build up again. So I
yeah,
don't know if that would be the first on Kobe Mainu's mind to go to somewhere like Crystal Palace, even though there's the provided structure, there's the great coach to work with, it's still about the optics. Someone like Kobe Mainu, who clearly seems to be a bit of a worldly dude, would rather see himself play somewhere else in Europe than go on loan in Crystal Palace, if you understand what I mean. So I don't
yeah.
think he'd even be interested in the thought of going there.
Well, it remains to be seen. If Kobe Manu does leave Manchester United, I would be very shocked. But there are rumors, so we just have to wait and see what happens. So moving on